Greetings to each and every one of you. Omnia Vincit Veritas. Omnia Vincit Veritas. May the blessings and the shower of Almighty God within you be with you. May the protection of the God within you guide you, protect you, and lead you to the truth path. I'm going to be talking about Hajj, the pilgrimage of the Islamic pilgrimage, the Hajj, because it is a month of the Hajj, which is the Dhul Hajj, and it's a month of the Hajj, and people are preparing to go to the Hajj. A lot are already there, and there is more to Hajj which many Muslims do not know. This is why a lot of people go to Hajj, and at the end, they don't meet up with the virtues of Hajj. You see, I just want to put this as an intro for you people to understand. You see, Islam is full of spirituality. From the beginning of Islam to the end of Islam, the practices in Islam, when you go into the Sufi order, you will see everything about Islam is full of spirituality, is full of mysticism. So the Hajj, in which everybody is mobilizing money to go to Hajj, has a lot to do with spiritual consciousness. It has a lot to do with spiritual awakening, which is why in the rules of Hajj, before one can meet a perfect Hajj, or before one can have the virtues of Hajj, there are certain criteria in which one should go through before one can meet up with that benefit of Hajj. Because Hajj, do not forget, in the 5 pillars of Islam, Hajj is the 5th pillar. I will come there, I will talk about it. Hajj is the 5th pillar. So which is why it is said that before you are qualified, before one can be qualified for Hajj, number one should be self-sufficient in terms of financial. Okay. Number 2, one should use halal money, which is a purified money that is pure, money that is clean. You cannot use money from fraud to go to Hajj. You cannot use money from prostitution to go to Hajj. You cannot use money from anything that is ungodly, anything that is unpurified. Okay, once you use such money for Hajj, you are only going there to perform exercise, not to perform Hajj, because Hajj is the tazkiyatul nafs, purification of the what of the soul, purification of the other bodies, purification of the what tazkiyatul qalb, of the what of the heart that has everything within it. The people that circumambulate the Kaaba represent the body, and the Kaaba itself is the heart of God. So you can't go to Hajj when your money is not clean. I'm telling you, it is better you stay at home. But to modern day Hajj is, it's a show-off thing. People only go to Hajj just to show off to their friends that I'm also Hajjia, I'm also Al-Hajj. It's fair enough, but we are going to be talking about the esoteric meaning of Hajj and how Hajj should affect your life, how it should transform your life. Once you don't receive this transformation, then my brother, my sister, you are nowhere closer to the beneficiary of those who have benefit from the what? From the pilgrimage of Hajj. So, you see, number 1, when you go to Hajj, you put on you strip off yourself and put on the white cloth, which is the white fabric that you put on, which is the haram. So the haram simply means you are stripping off your ego. You are stripping off your ego. You are stripping off your attachment. You are stripping off your anger. You are stripping off your jealousy. So until you understand the meaning of al-haram, the white veil or the white fabric that the Al-Hajj and the Hajjas put on during the activities of Hajj, you are missing a lot. So putting on, you first have to take off the normal clothing, the normal dresses, the normal shirt that you normally wear, and strip off yourself and put on white. So you are stripping off your ego. Everything that is egoistic, you strip it off. Everything that is attachment, you strip it off. You take it out of your life. You are now going to meet your maker, which is the upper consciousness. You are getting into the upper level of divinity, upper level of consciousness. So you have to strip off your ego, get it off, make sure you clear your mind, you clear your heart, which is the nafs, or which is the qalb. You clear the qalb, because Hajj is the purpose of Hajj is to purify your qalb. When one purifies his qalb, which is your heart, one gets close to God. So that is the first step of Hajj. And let's go. This video, I want to summarize everything in this video, okay? When you circumambulate to the Kaaba, the Kaaba is the octave. Okay, the Kaaba is the octave, and octave is 8. So 8 is the Kaaba. And when you looked at the Kaaba is in the form of, box form. So the box form has the upper and the lower. The upper has 4 cardinal points, and the lower, which is the beneath it, has also 4 cardinal points. When you put this together, it results at 8, which is the octave. And the 8, it is a serpental that rises on your spine, which is the kundalini. Okay, and if you look at serpent is the only animal that can easily use its own self to create 8. If you look at the symbol of serpent, it is the only animal that can use its own self to create 8. So the 8 is the duality, is the as below so above, is the spiritual realm and the physical realm, is the malakut and the ketra, okay, which is the physical and the spiritual. So that is the 8. And when you circumambulate the Kaab, which is the octave, when you circumambulate it, you do circumambulation 7 times, and each circumambulation is 365 degrees. Everything that is in the circle form, you rotate it at the verge of 365 degrees, which is why the earth rotates the sun at the verge of 365 degrees, 365 days per year. So when you circumambulate this Kaaba at the verge of 7 times, 365 degrees, when you put 365 degrees, when you add up 365 degrees times 7, it will result at 2,555. So 2,555, when you put them together, it will result at what? Digit 8. That is the same as the serpent. So when you are circumambulating, the 8 are 2 zeros, okay? And 0 is the mirror that reflects within and without. When you stand before 0, you can see your reflection of yourself, because the 0 is the mirror that reflects within and the without. So when you are circumambulating this Kaab, which is this octave, you are circumambulating the reflection of your without and within. And the Kaaba itself is the center pain of God, is the heart, which is the qalb. So you are doing this circumambulation to purify your heart, to purify your physical into your upper level of consciousness. You are doing this circumambulation for you to get out from this attachment, from this egoistic attachment and this egoistic world, and go into the infinite of what? Divinity, consciousness, upper level of consciousness. And also, when you do this accumulation, there's a stone on this Kaaba. Look at the stone very well. Look at the Kaaba and look at the stone and tell me, what does this stone looks like? And this stone, it looks like a certain anatomy, a particular anatomy, okay, of a woman, which is the woman VG. So tell me, what does this Kaab, which is the octave, what does it looks like? And octave, which is digit 8, okay, in terms of elemental position, it is a feminine. The 8 is a feminine. It's not a masculine. It's a feminine, which is why after your everything, you go to the Zamzam, because the Zamzam is water. So when you do the circumambulation, you go and you definitely you have to stone the shaitan. Which is, what is the meaning of the shaitan? Al shaitan derived from the word al mushayyatu, something that is unstable. Okay, that is your ego, that is your attachments, that is the illusion, that is the lies, that is the shaitan that always moves with you in what? In dirty, in uncleanness. It always controls you to disobey your within God, the nafsul radiyatul mutma'inna, the nafsul mutma'inna. So you have to throw this shaitan by you giving up your ego, by you giving up your attachment, by you distinguishing yourself from shaitan. That is the meaning of you throwing this stone to the shaitan. In literally, there is no shaitan over there, but literally, you are not rather throwing to any being over there, but you are expelling the shaitan, the attachment, the ego that is attached to you. You are telling yourself that I'm no more with this shaitan. I'll do away with this shaitan, which is your ego. So after this, you go in this process of Haji, you go to Safa and Marwa. You go to the Safa and the Marwa. Safa and the Marwa is the third eye and the crown chakra. You go to the Safa and the Marwa, or from the crown chakra to the lower bottom of the Kundalini. The energies rises from the Safa into the Marwa. It goes up and down, up and down. During that exercises, the energy of what? The Safa and the Marwa, which is the cosmic energy, flows, which is the divine energy, flows from the upper level to the lower level. It goes up and down 7 times. You go to the Safa and the Marwa. After this Safa and the Marwa, the Zamzam is awaiting for you. The Zamzam is the infinite consciousness. It is a divine, the water that does not have a beginning, does not have an end. It is said that it was Ismail who was the one who sourced that water by using his leg. So it is a pure consciousness of divine. My dear brothers and sisters, I do not want you to go to Hajj, spend your time, spend your money, spend your energy, and all will be in vain. Do understand whatever you do very well. The Hajj is the 5 pillars is the last pillar of the Islam. When you look at the Salat, the Sawm, which is the Ramadan. Okay, when you look at the Zakah, okay, when you look at the Salat, the Hajj is the 5th one. And when you look at the Hajj is the 5th one. Yes, it's the 5th pillar of the Islam. And we have 5 anfas, which is we have 5 levels of what? This bodies. We have nafsul hawa, we have nafsul mutma'inna, we have nafsul mulhama, we have nafsul radhiya, okay, we have nafsul kamil. So these anfas are the 5 nafs one has to do what? One has to purify and get into this different consciousness. And after this anfas, we have different planes of consciousness. In Tasawwuf, we have Nasutiya, which is the physical plane. Okay, this plane that you and I live in, you and I live upon. This is the physical plane. That's Nasutiya. And we have the Jabarutiya. The Jabarutiya is the astral plane. Okay, the Jabarutiya is the astral plane. That is the second plane that one has to enrich during Hajj. After this Jabarutiya, we have something called Malakutiya. Malakutiya is the angelic plane. This is where you have to do what? Indulge into. During this Hajj, you have to liberate yourself. You have to lift yourself. You have to ascend from the physical plane, which is the attachment, which is the ego, which is the false identity. You have to let go of it during this Hajj. and get into the astral plane. When you get to the astral plane, you have now into awakening level. You begin to see the reality. You begin to see everything that is happening now. From there, you go to the Jabarutiya, which is the Jabarutiya. The Jabarutiya is where the astral plane happens. You get to see everything. From the Jabarutiya, you go to the Malakutiya. From the Malakutiya, you go to Lahutiya. From the Lahutiya, you go to the Hahutiya. So when you go to the Hahutiya, this is the 5th level, that represents the 5th pillar of the Hajj, or the 5th pillar of the Islam, which is the Hajj. And these 5 pillars is a representation of the daily salat you and I and everybody perform. The Subh, the Zuhr, the Asr, the Maghrib, and the Isha. When you look at the Subh has 2 rakat. The Zuhr has 4 rakat, making 6. The Asr has 4 rakat, making 10. The Maghrib has 3 rakat, making 13. And the Isha has 4 rakat, making 17. So 17, when you put them together, I do not want to explain what is the significance or what is the meaning of the 1 and the 7. In the next episode, I'm going to explain that. But when you put the 1 and the 7, it will result at what? The gate 8. That is a serpent. That is circumambulation. That is the upper consciousness and the lower consciousness. So it's either, we were in the upper consciousness, in the Garden of Eden, in Jannah. That is where every perfection lies. Everything is there before we were sent to the lower consciousness. So mankind has to rise from, his lower consciousness to the upper level of consciousness, which is why you perform daily salat every day. Which is why the Quran said that inna salata, it says, inna salata, verily, salat, which is the 5 daily prayers that you perform, 5 daily prostration that you always prostrate, tanha anil fahshahi wal munkar. It prevents you from every negative deeds, from every negative energy, from every egoistic characteristics, from anything that pulls you from divine. It's definitely prevents you from that. Wala dhikrullahi akbar, but meditation is the greatest. So why did he say wala dhikrullahi akbar? It simply means that when you are doing wala dhikrullahi akbar, I don't see this wow as wow al-ma'iyya, but I rather see this wow as wow atafi. This wow is still referring to the salat. Some people say that this wow is wow al-muqatti' or wow al-ma'iyya. It is a wow that differentiates the zikr from the salat. But the salat itself is a zikr. So this wow is still referring to the salat. So one can do salat without performing zikr. So you have to do salat while performing zikr. You have to do salat while meditating. In your salat, you need to meditate. When you meditate, you get to the 1st level, 2nd level, 3rd level, and the 4th level, and the 5th level of this consciousness. And do not forget, we have 5 senses: the taste, the touch, the feeling. These 5 senses, scientifically, everybody knows these 5 senses. And these 5 senses is the physical senses that everybody needs to master. When you master your taste, you master your feeling, you master your touch, you master your hearing, you master your vision. These are things that one needs to master. When one masters these 5 senses, one gets into the level of Jabarutiya. The level of Jabarutiya is the level of astral plane, when one sees everything as it is. And when you look at this 5 daily salat that we always perform, it represents the pentagon. The pentagon is the 5-pointed star. And the 8, which is the Horobos, the 8 is the serpent that quelled the star. This 8 is the Nafsul Kamila. The 5-pointed star is the Nafsul Kamila. And the 8, which is a serpent that quelled itself as a circle, is a Nafsul Kamila. And Nafsu, which is a soul that has mastered all these 5 senses, that has understand the infinite of Allah, divine source. He has mastered this. So you going to Hajj, you perform salat, you do everything, and you do not even understand what you always perform, what you always do. When you look at the 5-pointed star, the upper point of the star, it talks about what? What does it talk about? It talks about the spirit. Talks about the energy in you, the life force in you. The other, lower points of the star, it also talks about the air, and the air talks about what? The air talks about the intellect. It talks about the intellect. It talks about the consciousness. So all these 5-pointed stars, one needs to master all this. You need to master the air. You need to master the fire. You need to master the water. You need to master the earth. The earth simply means the gravitational force, the ego that always pulls you back to divine. The water represents the emotions that always get you stuck into family attachment, into worldly attachments. The air tells you how to navigate yourself through your soul, through your nafs, through your ruh, going through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the faith is the ether, which is the center pin of what? Of God, which is the heart. So when you are performing these 5 daily salats, you are not doing anything but trying to master these 5 senses, and also to master the nasutiya, the jabarutiya, the malukutiya, and the lahutiya, and the hawutiya. You need to master all this. When you mastered all this, that is when a man becomes a complete, nafs, a complete human being. So do not think you are going to Hajj. If you go to Muzdalifah in Hajj, Muzdalifah, what happens there? You see everybody, man and woman, everybody is lying down, on the floor, on the ground. The sun is scorching. If the sun is hitting everybody becomes so so human. Everybody, you can see the sense of humility over there. It means you go to Muzdalifah, it means you are nobody before Allah. You are nobody before God. It means this body is nobody before his creator, which is the within. This body is nobody before the within, God. So when you go there, you see the poor man, the poor woman, the richest man, the richest woman, the most brilliant person, the most intelligent person, and the most shallow person, and the most weaker person in mind, and the most ignorant person. Everybody is one over there. With your money, without your money, you are all equal at Muzdalifah. With your money, without your money, you are all equal at what? At Tawaf. With your money, without your money, you are all equal when you are stoning the shaitan. With your money, without money, you are all equal when kissing the stone. So this is when the nafsu, which is the attachment, which is the ego, has now fall into the pit, into the pit of nobody. You have neglected that ego. You have neglected your position. You have neglected, I am this, I am that, I am great, I am greater, I am the richest man in the world, I am the brilliant man in the world, I am the most handsome man in the world, I am the most beautiful man in the world. So when you go to Hajj and you come back and you still visit your ugly characters, the old life of you that you left behind before you traveled to Mecca, you are failing life. There is this Sufi who said that I first went to Mecca and I saw Kaaba. And he said I second went to Mecca and I saw God. Thirdly, I went to Mecca and I did not see God, neither Kaaba, but I saw myself. So you are going to Kaaba to see yourself, your true being, to see who you truly are, to clean yourself, to clean the nafs, to clean the heart, to purify the heart, and go into the oneness of divine, the consciousness. That is when in Tasawwuf we have 3 different transition. Okay, 3 different transition. We have Saliku Fillahi, we have Saliku Ilallahi, and we have Saliku Ma'allahi. These are 3 transitional level of what? Tasawwuf, which is what? Mysticism. Saliku fillahi, there are Sufis, or there are mystics who transcend fillahi, within God. They transcend within God. Everything about them has become the infinite, and it has become part and particles of divine. There are stories in the Quran. In the next episode, we're going to talk about it. The story of Khidr and Musa. And we have Saliku ma'allahi. We have transitional level with God. With God, you are transcending with God. So you always take the command of God. You are transcending with God. And we have Saliku ilallahi, and we have transitional level towards God. You are transcending towards God. So these transitional levels are not the same. So you may see a mystic who is not transition within God, but rather he or she is transcending with God. And you may see a mystic who is not transcending with God, but rather he or she is transcending towards God. So Mecca was the temple of idols, true of us. So when you go Mecca without cleaning your heart, you will definitely find idol over there. Absolutely. When you go to Mecca without clean money, purified money, money that is pure, clean money, and you didn't clean your heart, you did not clean your mind, you did not forgive, you do not do away the ego, the attachment, the lies, the falsehood, you definitely see shaitan. But when you clean your heart, you clean your mind, you clean your nafs, you clean your aura, and you have it in your mind that you are not going there to find anybody. You are going there to find your true being. You will find God. You will find God. So, my dear brothers and sisters who are ready to visit the pilgrimage ground, put this in mind. And as a Sufi, as a mystic, you do not need to go to Mecca before you can perform Hajj. I always perform Hajj. Every mystic, every Sufi always perform Hajj. Hajj simply means purification of your heart, transcending beyond the five senses, transcending beyond the five plane, transcending beyond the five consciousness. When one gets to that level, one becomes an awakened being. Thank you.